Intrepid viewers, welcome. I can't believe it's almost July. It's tomorrow here in Australia. That's weird enough. But we have to have a look at what Trump is going to get up to in July. Of course, he's been on the world stage again. I feel for you guys watching it unfold. There he is, greeting every other authoritarian figure in a 2-mile radius, while snubbing the Western alliance, blowing up the Iran Accord, and then, which took 15 years to get in the first place, and was going well, that deal, and now he's announced he wants to invent one. He's got no idea. He's got no idea. He wouldn't know where Iran was. He would not be able to tell you the capital of Iran, but he is now an authority, thanks to his very strange and corrupt son-in-law. Middle East? Cannot believe it. Anyway, on a lighter note, what made my day today, one of the sites I look at regularly is Raw Story, and along with Politico and a lot of others. But Raw Story had this fantastic picture of this anti-gay Republican putting money in the underpants of a male stripper in Mexico. So if you want a bit of light relief, go to Raw Story. The picture is gold. The hypocrisy of these people. So let's go. I've brought out the Russian deck, especially for Trump in July. So we'll get a signifier and we'll do each of the 4 weeks. I mean, Trump, he could be the worst deal maker ever, considering that's his claim to fame. Again, he tossed out NAFTA, and then all the bureaucrats just went away, printed it on different coloured paper, gave it back to him, and now he's got his new deal, so that's good. Really, kindergarten in the White House. So, what's going to happen at Kindy in July? Kindergarten in July. Why am I thinking kindergarten? Here we go. Bring you down. So, he's off to a flying start. The 4 of Swords. Okay, so let me lay these down. We'll go back to the signifier. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, we kick off here with the 4 of Swords, which is normally the card of retreat. Right? Now, this is how he's feeling at the moment. I think, is genuinely exhausted, right? Not that I have any sympathy for a tyrannical, sleazy bankrupt being tired, but he is. And I think that's actually going to colour or tone July for him. So despite any pharmaceutically fueled tweet storms that may ensue, he's actually totally exhausted. Not tired enough, if you ask me. Well, all right. So the first week of July, which takes in, of course, the famous 4th of July. So, but now, because of the G20, he's thinking internationally for a minute. What does thinking internationally mean for the Yeti, who knows, probably Miss World. That's about as far as it goes. But there's a lot of politics being played globally at the moment around Trump. Not so much with Trump, but around him. That's right. Putin is a master manipulator. He has his number. It's fine. Xi, totally prepared to wait him out. I think this represents the others in the Western alliance. This even could be Angela Merkel going, do I have to speak to this cretin again? I'm just going to pretend I don't speak English. Look, this is him doing the rounds after the G20, but it's how people are reacting, and they're not impressed. This is not a world leader. He's not of the caliber of even a bad world leader. He's just totally not up to the job. Now, we've had this card before. Someone's trying, in this case, someone trying to pull Trump back. It was someone else last time, I can't remember. A woman. I don't think it's Melania pulling him back. Why would she? I don't think she'd care if she ever saw him again. It's definitely not Melania. In the series I did early on, Women Who Lie for Trump, it could be one of those. I have a new theory on Kellyanne. I must do a reading on that. I just had a flash. But I don't think it's her either. It could be actually Pelosi. I know it seems strange seeing her in this, but she could be the one holding him back. It's hard. I'm not getting an immediate feel. Who is the woman who's trying to stop Donald Trump doing some of his worst excesses? It might be the Blessed One. It could be Ivanka. That's my feel on it now. He's talking, a new caliber, excuse the phrase, nothing else will do, of bullshit. And she, who shares the IQ of her father, which is possibly minus 56, but even she knows whatever he's about to do, because this is an international vibe, I think, this first week still. I think it might be Ivanka trying to stop him doing something even more stupid than we could dream. Now, this is one of my favourite cards in this new 12-chair tarot. Okay, you've got to love it. The Five of Cups, disappointment. I think this represents his 4th of July gig. I'm dying to see what unfolds with this. Fireworks notwithstanding, there's going to be a few thousand people. He's going to describe it as 500,000. It's going to be fascinating in itself who goes to Don's party. Okay, so there's a wasted element to this disappointment. You put it together with his signifier, right? This is not someone on top of the world, is it? There are plenty of 70-somethings with energy to burn. This is not him. He's absolutely drained. And obviously the physical image does not resemble him, but I think this is how he's feeling. He doesn't even get into bed anymore. He's flicking between channels and he's tweeting. But the word I get is wasted, like in a drug sense, but it's he just doesn't have the energy to carry on. We'll see. Don't be fooled, because he'll prop himself up. He's got his Dr. Feelgood on standby, so he'll come out and talk endlessly. Oh, second week's not going to be good, Donald. I'm here to tell you, love. So we have this This deck has 80 cards instead of 78. The extra card, one's a black chair, one's a white chair. This is the black chair card. To a certain extent, it's like representing a void. He's ripping things apart. That would be like the Iran nuclear deal. That would be like the trade deals. He'll start backing off on the tariffs soon. There's talk of that, and then he'll reinvent that as a win. But this is tearing things apart, which he'll continue to do. But this is a chair in the domestic space. He's tearing his domestic space apart, literally. Now, a digression for a moment, viewers. Other readers, I can't remember who specifically at this time, it might be Dave from Moonlight, has seen him ripping paintings off the wall and smashing things in the White House. And it was Dave, I remember it now. He was saying that could be literal if he really loses it, or it could be symbolic. That's how his images come. Symbolically, he's ripping down everything the presidency represents. But this is in the domestic space, meaning the White House space. We can forget the marriage. That's long ago. I mean, Melania's probably been having it off with the pool boy and the gardener for quite some time, and that's without talking about the fitness trainer. Oh, idle gossip. Now, he gets the black chair. 1 in 80 chance. It's up there. So he's destroying those around him. This is followed by, this is a Major Cup card, a woman in tears, a woman who's connected in a way to this other woman that we had in the first week. And I suspect this might be Ivanka again. I'm feeling more confident it is Ivanka. And this is Ivanka weeping. This is Ivanka losing a lot. This is not usually the type of place she hangs out in. Okay, so she's feeling quite desolate and desperate. All the D words. She's really now coming in strong to this reading. We're in the second week of July, which is this very weird card, the King of Wands. So it's Trump representing the king, but instead of the normal regal imagery that goes with tarot cards, the 12 chairs flips it. This is the street sweeper who has somehow acquired the glasses of the king. I know it's weird. I'm just getting it from the notes that came with the pack. In other words, he's looking with the gaze of a king, but he's not really up to the task. The theme in this reading is his failure on the world stage, which has repercussions for every human being, and his calamitous, disastrous behaviour on the domestic scene. Really? This guy? Let's have a look. Third week of July for Donald. So, the 4th of July will be, I think, a turning point in itself because it is so symbolic for America. It'll be really interesting what happens and how he does it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The third week, more things will be found, right, that are evidence of his criminal conduct. So there'll be, I suspect, more searches. This is someone being patted down, but I think it's speaking to a search. I think there'll be further legal delving and actually, taking away of boxes of documents type searching in the third week, either of Trump or someone very close to him yet again. Let's hope so close blood relation. But this is indicating further search. This dude's in trouble. I don't think it's Trump. I think it'll affect Trump emotionally, but I don't think it's him. Hope it's Don Jr. or the cross-dressing son-in-law. Okay, so now we're still in the third week of July. The Two of Wands, the secret meetings. Now, in this case, this could be Republicans deciding how the hell are we going to go forward when we've got this belligerent imbecile as our head of state. This is a problem for the GOP. Or, and I'll do a clarifier, is this the Dems going, you know what, we've got them on the ropes in this place, that place, we're struggling in this place. Is this the Dems having secret meetings about impeachment or not impeachment, etc. still? Or the GOP? We'll get back to that. It could be both. It is a two. They could both be in their own worlds going. Okay. Third week, the Five of Wands. Wrestling with the chair. So these secret meetings are not going to result in clear-cut policy from either side. It's going to be more of a tussle than that. It's mine. No, it's mine. I want to say this. Why should you say that? You can't say this. Don't tell me what I can't do. Argy-bargy. Have we all embraced the phrase argy-bargy? The thing about argy-bargy as an Australian expression means pointless confrontation with people and just arguing for the sake of arguing and no one winning. It implies all this pointlessness. So this is the card that I'm now christening the argy-bargy card. Okay. So July, we're moving on to the last week in July for the Yeti. Oh, we get the King of Swords. For over a year now, this was my Muller card. Okay, now he's testifying in technically the third week. And we're looking at the fourth week. I am going to stick my neck out and say there will be a bit of a delay in the response to people about Muller's testimony. Why do I think that? I think it's like, my intuitive feel is Muller will give the testimony. Bless. People are going to react in their same predictable camps on both sides. Well, he said this, but he meant that, and he could have said this, and it doesn't matter now, and, you know, this is the most important thing that's happened in modern history. This doesn't matter, let's move on. I think there's going to be the immediate reaction is going to be like that. But a bit later, starting a week later, I think people are going to digest it and process it differently and really start to get what's going on. Can you see this image? So this is the king being shaved. You have to trust the person with the razor, particularly now he doesn't have Hope Hicks to steam his pants. Who's the person wielding the razor is another question in itself. Okay, so that's two cards I have to clarify. 1, 2. So this is the king being shaved bald. Hair is symbolically important. Samson power, all of that. No one is more vain than the Yeti and making sure he hasn't got fleas in his hair. The being shaved is very symbolic. Fourth week of July, I think the Muller stuff will kick in more than it will when it actually happens. So, still in the fourth week, Four of Cups. Look, these guys are on a boat. You know what? One of them really doesn't want to be there. Probably both of them don't want to be there, but one can deal with it, the top one. The other one is having to go somewhere, having to do something you don't want to do. Now, what does that mean for Trump? It could mean eating something other than a hamburger. I mean, he has the palate of a 6-year-old as well as the sort of way of seeing the world as a 6-year-old. But this guy really doesn't want to go to where he has to go. So in the 4th week of July, he'll have to do something he really doesn't want to do. And it'll have to be, to some extent, public. He'll never apologise to anyone, but we'll keep our eye out for that and see what it is that he has to do. Oh, back to the media. So, Page of Swords, a couple of things about that. The Page of Swords can also be the spy in the camp, lest we forget. I think there's someone in the White House or his close personals. By that I mean the Chris Christies and people who still pick up the phone. There can't be more than 3 or 4 of them left in the Northern Hemisphere. I think someone's going to give an interview, right, and actually spill some more personal beans, much like Stern did recently. That type of thing is what I'm feeling. Okay, so now I'm heading for the clarifiers, the Verasabila. I want to know about this meeting. Oh, I keep them in this cute little pouch. But in fact, it's really stupid because it's hard to get them out. Okay, tiny weeny cards, but I like them. There's a sort of simplicity and purity to them. They're the sweetest little things. Okay, remember this card about the secret meetings. Is it the Dems, is it the GOP, or is it both? Oh, sorry, I should have put it down. Oh, it's a card of celebration, but it's also a card of consolation. All right, how I read this, I'm hearing in my ear, forget the celebration. So I think it's both parties are having their secret backroom deals, and they're both presenting a positive face. That's what the quasi-celebration is about. But there's a consolation for one side, and I think the consolation is for the Dems. I'm just going to do a second one. Is it the Dems? Yeah, so there's a lot of infighting. A lot of infighting. Is it the Dems? Oh, well, here, enemy. It's the enemy. So, from my point of view, you could say it's the GOP as my sort of nemesis, if you like. But what's more important is I think it is actually the Dems, and they have to, see this card, they have to, what I'm hearing quite clearly is they have to unify in the face of the enemy. That's what, now I've got the whole story. That's what this is about. People are in very different camps, particularly as they're doing the primary debates. It's a very cruel time. It's a very difficult time for any party because you've got each other publicly saying, I'm really different from that person. So it's fallen into place for me now that that's what it's about. Present a solid face, a happy face, be unified in the face of the enemy. The Republicans do that really well. The Dems do it really badly. So the Republicans, you know what I mean? Like, they do just present a solid line. But I think that's the message to the Dems. Okay, who's shaving the head of the king? Ooh, the next bit of the story. The Proxima novella. What's the next installment? The fourth week of July, to put all this together, the fourth week of July, with everything that will transpire in that time, he'll be shorn of some degree of power. He'll be shorn of a significant degree of popularity. I'm not saying his base will desert him, but a lot of people of the middle, there were a lot of independents who voted for Trump. He'll be shown in his true light and undisguised, and it will be a new chapter. The fourth week of July is the beginning of a new chapter. Now, I have to apologise. I promised you a video joint with Dave Johnson, Moonride, for the solstice. We had a great time. We had some lovely food. We did some great shamanic work together. But real life intervened. I'm so sorry, and we didn't get the video to happen. So we'll work on doing a joint video down the track. And I also wanted to say a very nice guy, American, living here in Australia, called Brada Cadabra, and he is a very unorthodox tarot reader. He did an interview with me back in February or something, and he's just relaunched it. So I'll put the link up. It's called Dialogue with Dr. Lena Rodriguez, your intrepid correspondent. So if you're interested, that will be up for you. Before I go, the gorgeous tapa cloth that I hope you noticed behind me. This is from Samoa, not American Samoa, independent Samoa. Talk about colonization in the Pacific. Don't go there. In independent Samoa, they still speak Samoan, is the first language, as well as English. Now, this is a Pacific Island household I stay in. That's why the imagery. But tapa cloths are made from mulberry bark, and they're considered very important and have ancestral qualities because the images tell stories, and they tell stories of your particular tribal group, your family group, your clan group, all sorts of stories. This one was for a wedding, and they're just beautiful things. It's huge. I don't know if you can get an idea of the perspective here, but it's probably, if it was laid out, it'd be about 15 foot high. They are massive, and I'm privileged to have this particular piece behind me here today. So I wish you well, and I'll be back before you know it. So take care, keep commenting, press thumbs up buttons. See you real soon. Ciao, guys.